Most people imagine owning a private island as the ultimate symbol of wealth.
You buy a piece of paradise, build a beautiful house, step onto your own beach, and suddenly the rest of the world feels very far away.
But there is a problem with that dream. A private island is not simply a very expensive piece of land.
It is an isolated economic system.
So the real question is not, how much does a private island cost? The real question is, how much does it cost to keep one alive?
Imagine a wealthy buyer finds an island listed for $10 million.
At first, that number sounds enormous. But compared with a luxury mansion in a major global city, it may not be completely unimaginable for someone with substantial wealth. The purchase price, however, is only the beginning.
Private islands can vary enormously in price depending on their location, size, development, access, infrastructure, and legal restrictions.
Some undeveloped islands can sell for a few $1,000,000, while highly developed or strategically located islands can reach tens or even hundreds of millions.
And this creates the first economic trap.
Land that looks cheap may actually be the most expensive land to develop.
A normal property already has roads, electricity, water, internet, waste collection, emergency services, and nearby suppliers.
An undeveloped island may have none of them.
But with this master plan, we can bring essential services right here.
That means our hypothetical $10 million island could require another major investment before the owner can even enjoy it.
The first challenge is electricity.
An island far from the mainland may need generators, battery storage, solar systems, fuel storage, or some combination of technologies.
If diesel generators are used, fuel has to be transported to the island. If renewable energy is installed, the owner still needs batteries, backup systems, maintenance, and replacement equipment.
Water creates another problem.
Rainwater collection can help, but depending on climate and demand, the island may also require wells, desalination equipment.
Now imagine the owner has built a beautiful house overlooking the ocean.
The house itself may be worth several $1,000,000.
But that house is useless if the island cannot reliably provide electricity, clean water, waste management, communications, and transportation.
And transportation is where island economics become especially strange.
A mainland mansion has a driveway.
An island may need a dock. An island may need a dock.
It may need boats, fuel, maintenance equipment, and possibly a private aircraft or helicopter arrangement.
Every time supplies arrive, distance becomes part of the price. A simple repair can become an expensive logistical operation.
If a refrigerator fails in a city, a technician might arrive the same day.
On a remote island, someone may need to travel by boat or aircraft, stay overnight, bring specialized equipment, and return later.
The repair is no longer just a repair. It becomes a transportation problem.
And that is why operating costs can matter more than the original purchase price.
The island still needs people.
There may be caretakers, security personnel, maintenance workers, housekeepers, gardeners, chefs,
Even a relatively small team can create a significant recurring expense once salaries, housing, food, transportation, insurance, and other benefits are included. And unlike a normal vacation home, someone usually needs to watch the property when the owner is away.
The owner may spend millions creating a place that is used only a few weeks or months each year.
The island still needs security.
The generator still needs maintenance.
The water system still needs attention.
The property still needs protection from storms, corrosion, humidity, vegetation, and mechanical failure.
Buildings deteriorate. Roads need maintenance.
Docks take damage.
Salt water attacks metal. Tropical climates can accelerate corrosion and biological growth.
Storms can destroy infrastructure in a matter of hours.
And then there is insurance.
Release. The exact cost depends heavily on location, property value, construction, exposure to hurricanes or other natural disasters.
In some locations, insuring a high-value island property can be difficult or expensive.
That risk also affects the economics of development.
The more isolated the island, the more expensive it can become to build even basic infrastructure.
Materials have to travel farther, equipment has to be transported, and workers have to be housed and supplied.
Even a simple building project becomes a logistics operation. And logistics have a habit of creating costs that never appear in the original purchase agreement. This is where the $10 million island starts looking very different.
The purchase price is one number. The cost of turning that land into a functioning luxury property is another.
And once the island finally works, the economics change again.
Now the owner is no longer paying to build the island.
They are paying to keep it alive. This is the difference between owning land and operating an island.
Economically, the costs can be separated into two important groups: fixed costs and variable costs. Fixed costs continue whether the owner visits the island once a year or every week.
The island does not stop costing money just because nobody is there.
Variable costs rise when the island is actually being used. More guests mean more food, more transportation, more cleaning, more energy, and more staff hours.
And this creates an important economic question. How often is the island actually being used?
If the owner visits only a few weeks a year, the economics can look surprisingly inefficient.
The island can become more than a lifestyle asset.
It can become an operating business.
But turning paradise into a business introduces an entirely different calculation.
A luxury resort can have enormous revenue potential and still lose money if the expensive property sits empty.
The opposite is also true. When occupancy is high, the same infrastructure can support far more revenue.
This is the basic economics of utilization.
The infrastructure costs money whether one person uses it or 50 people use it. The more effectively that infrastructure is used, the easier it becomes to spread fixed costs across revenue.
That does not automatically make the island profitable.
Remote hospitality has unusually high operating costs.
Food has to arrive. Replacement equipment has to arrive.
And every shipment carries the cost of distance.
The farther the island is from civilization, the more that distance can influence the economics.
And this is where geography becomes a financial variable.
An island close to a major city can have a completely different cost structure from one hundreds of miles away. And now we reach the cost that is easiest to overlook.
Opportunity cost.
If someone spends $20 million buying and developing an island, that money cannot simultaneously be invested somewhere else.
The island may create enormous personal value, but the money tied up in it has an economic alternative.
This does not mean buying an island is a bad financial decision.
It means the return may not be measured in dollars alone.
Privacy, control, convenience, and exclusivity can have enormous value to someone wealthy enough to afford them.
A private island is effectively selling something ordinary real estate cannot. Complete control over access.
No strangers walking onto the beach. No neighboring hotel. No crowded pool. But there is another way to buy the same feeling. You can simply rent it. For someone who visits an island only occasionally, chartering a yacht, renting a villa, or booking an exclusive resort can be economically far simpler.
You pay for the experience when you use it, rather than paying for an entire ecosystem year-round.
That difference becomes especially important when utilization is low.
If the owner spends 20 or 30 days there each year, the effective cost per day can become enormous.
The owner may be paying for 365 days of readiness to enjoy only a fraction of them.
That is why utilization is one of the most important variables in the entire calculation.
An owner who uses the property constantly receives more personal value from those fixed costs.
An operator who rents it to guests can potentially turn those same fixed costs into a business model. But the business only works if revenue consistently exceeds the full cost of operating the island.
That means understanding the break-even point.
Below that point, the island consumes cash. Above it, every additional occupied villa can contribute toward profit.
And that is the moment when a private island stops looking like a giant expense and starts looking like an economic asset.